arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling.
He crushed it.
I'm high on
It's a grand slam.
that you're with me.
I'm telling you, it's time to party.
Lips as sweet as candy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to SoxHub episode 12, home of the potentially third or fourth place Boston Red Sox. I'm your host, Brandon McAlery, and alongside me is the one, the only, the zesty lefty slinger himself, Trotty Too Hottie, aka Matt Trotta. How you doing?
You know how it be, Mac. Living the dream, running at God's speed. How about yourself, buddy?
I'm in a weird place right now because, as you know, we are recording live right now as the game is 7-5 in the bottom of the ninth with runners on first and third. There was a whole debacle that just happened with the mound visits right now, so then they had to make a pitching change. Things could get wild. Romy could either walk it off or tie it up here 2 nights in a row. So it's a wild range of emotions right now.
We're back. We're live. First pitch strike.
Oh, shit.
Down the middle.
I am still a half second behind you.
First and third. Bottom 9. Romy Gonzalez up.
Oh, no.
For those listening after the fact.
It froze on me.
I got you. It's a
Goddamn,
1-1 count. Miss
fucking
with the fastball
messing up.
low and outside to the right-hander, Romy Gonzalez. 1-1 count. First and third. Bottom 9. 2 outs, ladies and gentlemen. The pitch. Oh, foul ball, 91-mile-an-hour sinker, right down Johnson. It is 1-2 to the batter, Romy Gonzalez here in Fenway Park. This pitch right here could seal the series for the Rays.
My
The
screen's
pitch.
just black.
And it's a ball sinker, low it in at 91. Romy spits on it for an even 2-2 count. Kevin Cash looks like a penis as the pitcher comes set. The pitch. And we lose the series. 1-3. Game over. The Rays win the series 3-1.
Wish I had a sound effect for wah, wah, wah.
The Red Sox are 1-6 to begin the year against the AL East. And after the Cardinals, we get to see them for 3 more in the old Tropsky. Vibes are what they say are low, Mac. They're low.
So, let's talk about something more positive, I guess, instead of this series here.
Sure. What do you got?
Springtime, right, is in full swing right now. And I feel like this is the first year that we've had a spring truly in 2 or 3 years. Like, it literally goes from winter, where even now it's still 40, 50 degrees outside, and then just jumps to 85, 90 degrees. Now this is the year that we have a true spring. We're gradually getting up there in temperature. So I had a question for you. If you had to create a candle that insinuated spring, what would that smell be in a candle, and what would you name it?
I have a quick question for you before I answer that. Are you recording on the street of Leominster?
Yes, I am.
Dude, that guy drove through your room. Holy shit.
Yeah,
That guy, motorcycle guys like that, there you go again. You heard him? Just revving it for no reason. It's 10:30 at night, sir. People have got work in the morning. Show some respect and decency.
Some respect.
Yeah, little does he know the SoxHub boys are dropping some heat right now.
I will say this. I can't wait for the day that I can actually have either a recording room or a room that I can just shut a door and go in by myself instead of my makeshift office that's in our third room.
Oh, I can't wait for that for you.
I appreciate it. But anyways, back to my candle question. Your smell of spring, and you had to name a candle. What would that smell be, and what would the name of the candle be?
Oh, if you could like bundle up a little bit of, put some sand, not necessarily like dirt, put some sand from like a beach, so you get like the little beachiness, Then you tap in some freshly cut grass on that, just not pollen, because Trotty's allergic to pollen. I'll sneeze all over the place. So like grass. Okay. Then you take a little bit of Tiger Balm. That little distinct Tiger Balm smell.
Mm-hmm.
And you take a hint of lemon and lime. Drop that in there. I'm ready to go.
What are you naming it?
The Trotty Too Hottie.
The Trotty Too Hottie Spring Collection, brought to you by Gino's Candles.
Oh, Gino's Candles?
Yep.
Wow.
Gino's Candles.
Gino.
I'm just picturing an old Italian guy sitting there and be like, you want the smell of some good cut grass and some sand in there, a little Tiger Balm, some fresh squeeze? I got you. And just hand making these candles, and then a slap on there with a picture of an Italian guy going. And it says Trotty's Spring Collection, Trotty Too Hottie.
You want to hear a great story from an Italian family that deals with like the first generation Italian stuff, and having the grandparents, great grandparents, ancestors all speaking English as their second language. All right. So my great uncle Manfred, my uncle Anthony, old Cambridge chief of police officer. Guy's a savage.
Shout out.
How you doing? Your sister? Uncle Tone Watt listens too, so shout out.
Take care, brush your hair.
But when he was learning the ABCs from Uncle Manfred here, his father is off the boat from Italy. Goes over there, used to go over there, rest in peace, Manfred. Used to go over there all the time, constantly. But teaching my cousin Anthony the ABCs, Anthony went to school after learning the ABCs from Uncle Manfred, and the teacher had to have a conversation with Uncle Manfred and Uncle Manfred's wife about Anthony not understanding the alphabet and saying it very well. Guess how my Uncle Manfred taught my Uncle Anthony, when Uncle Anthony was a kid, the ABCs. Guess what Anthony was saying in class as a little like 4 or 5-year-old?
I have no fucking clue. What?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. It's not A. It's not B, Anthony. It's B. That's what Papa says. No, Papa's wrong. I'm sorry. The manubla obligada. Mama's right. You wrong. Mama's right. Manfred's right.
Oh my God. A, to B, C.
It's a me,
See you
Mario.
later. Oh my God.
Yeah, so poor Uncle Anthony had to stay after quite a bit for extra help to learn his alphabet and ABCs as a little youngster, but he turned out just fine in this world. Don't you worry. God damn it!
These cars,
he's back in the living room.
I was going to say, these cars are.
He must not like the Italians, man.
The windows are shut too. Like, my God,
Yeah, that guy is aggressive. Hopefully he has a helmet.
That's awesome. I absolutely hope so, because it's not Connecticut or New Hampshire up here, let me tell you. For me, though, candle-wise, there's nothing better than when you're sitting on your couch on a spring night, okay, after like a nice 70, 75-degree day, and then the temperatures drop down, and you open up that window, and a cool, brisk springtime breeze hits you, and you just kind of take a...
Get that tickle down your spine a little bit.
You get that tickle down your spine, and you're like, fuck, man, spring is here. You got some baseball on. You got that breeze just kicking in, and it just,
Almost that like sticky moisture in the air, too.
Yep.
Where like it's optimal, like throw a baseball weather.
Oh, like the best throw of baseball weather, because it's not like too sticky
out.
You're not sweating or anything, like sweating profusely, I should say. Like you're sweating just enough.
70 and sticky out, just
70
great day to throw a ball.
No better day. And honestly, I had come up with the name of Chris Spring Night. That would be the name of my candle. Not trying.
Hey, Gino, you hear of that?
Brought to you by Gino's Candles, the BMAC Spring Collection.
Last little childhood thing, considering it's an Italian name. You ever hear the childhood book Gino Badino?
Can't say that I have.
Oh, dude, it was a all-time staple. It was an every night thing for me. It was a little childhood story about a little mouse called Gino Badino, who was part of an Italian mouse family that ran a pasta factory shop or restaurant. And it was about how he, his day-to-day, and how he was a hard worker, a family man, a family kid, and how he one day took over the little restaurant by staying persistent and working hard from the ground up.
Wow. That's a good little tale of showing you hard work does pay off. I feel like kids nowadays don't read those books. They read books that are like, if you just stand around, something good will happen and be given to you because you earned it.
Yep, participation awards, and you got it wrong when you said book. They're watching it on, a little screen or tablet. They're not even teaching writing in school or like cursive, dude. They're going to like freaking laptop class.
In fairness, when has cursive ever done anything for us?
Outside
of signing your name, which even then is
fair.
just a scribble.
Fair, but like just simple like handwriting, like, come on. I guess it's obsolete. I guess, but come on.
All right.
Come on.
Here's the next question for you, and if you guys can't tell, we are absolutely avoiding trying to talk about this series for as long as possible here. KB used to ask this question all the time.
Kevin.
Yep. Shout out Kevin Barnaby, our farm director down on the Woo Sox there.
Hi, Kevin.
KB used to always sit there and to buy a little bit of time and stuff like that and get things going. He would always ask the kids, if you could pick one object that is going to be obsolete in 10 years, what would it be? So I'm going to ask you that question. In 10 years, what is something that we use every day that will be obsolete?
Shit.
So some of the answers that kids have given it, or I've given myself, is newspapers. That's something that could go obsolete. DVD players. Because of streaming services. I'm trying to think of what else. Somebody said radio one time, like talk radio type thing, but people still kind of tune into that. But like a lot of people are listening to podcasts now. You know what I mean? Shout out.
How are you?
So things like that. You got anything random? I got a good one in my head.
I would say maybe movie theaters.
I feel like those are actually making a comeback.
Movie theaters, or my last one is just video games being sold in general, like hard copies of
like
video
hard
games.
copies. I do miss the days of like going to GameStop as a kid or something like that, and like waiting out for like a midnight release of fucking like Call of Duty or Halo or something like that. Back when I was in like sixth grade or something, and my dad would take me.
The COD drop days.
Yep, and I'm just sitting there at midnight waiting for that game, and there's a line of hundreds of people.
Constant. But they don't get that anymore. They just got to wait in their little finished video game.
You can even pre-download it now.
Yep. Oh yeah. You don't even need to wait and be awake for it. It can be just downloaded when you wake your ass up at 2:00 in the afternoon as a middle schooler.
Kids don't know the grind that we used to have to go through.
No, it's just handed.
Nope. For me, another one I was going to say was gas vehicles will be obsolete in 10 years.
In 10 years, you think? I think we're going to need a little more time for that.
Maybe not fully obsolete, but your mic is making wild noises, right? There we go. It was moving around, the old snow globe there. All right. Jumping on to a few things. Wanted to mention this, looking through the AL East and whatnot. And one of the big reasons why, I mean, granted, the Sox are in fourth place now, but why they were up so high is because Tampa and Toronto were not living up to expectations. And is it fair to say that Toronto is kind of the new White Sox? Like the White Sox had all that hype of their young core of Lou Bob, Dylan Cease, Elvis Andrus was there. I mean, Nick Madrigal, too, was there. Kopech, Gavin Sheets, Andrew Vaughn, Kopech, Eloy, Yoan Moncada, like
Grandal.
All these guys, Grandal. And
Hendricks.
They just did not win anything. Like,
they got to the playoffs, though.
Are they comparable? Like, are the Blue Jays now that, at least whether on a very high level, like they are that next team, or to somewhat comparable?
Yeah, that's pretty close. That's not bad. I think we need a little bit more time. If we get to the All-Star break and it's a similar look for this Blue Jays team, you got to start having that conversation. We're going to have to pull that up on StatHead a little bit and do some cross-comparison analysis here between the two clubs over those spans, because you're on to something, I think. And if they don't make the playoffs this year, look out, because these guys' contracts, that core is coming to a near end, and I highly doubt that they're going to re-up on this core.
And I mean, the tough thing too, though, about that team is that, like, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I don't know if we'll ever see what he did in 2021, I think, with runner-up for MVP. And George Springer's not the player he used to be. Bo Bichette's struggling almightily right now. Granted, he is on a 6-game hit streak, so there may be some hope for him. But like Kevin Biggio did not live up to the hype. And they did try to supplement around them with Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios. I mean, everybody thought they landed Ohtani and stuff like that. So, like, it's not like they haven't tried spending money to supplement this team, but it just didn't work out. And so I don't know if, maybe come the trade deadline, like, they're looking at pieces to ship out.
I would say that is a good assessment, especially with George Springer and Justin Turner. I think they won't be too slow to turn those two guys specifically around, especially with the regression to the magnitude it is when you look at the OPS for the last 3 seasons for George Springer. It's gone down nearly 0.050 points. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot to just like a casual sports fan, but to a baseball fan, you understand that is drastic in a 3-year span, dropping 0.150 points in your OPS. That is brutal, considering the contract that this man is getting year to year here to play center field for them.
But I even feel like Kevin Gausman would be somebody that could probably help a team win right now. Jose Barrios could, because I got to imagine I don't even, like, if he's arbitration eligible. His contract's
absurd to the point that I don't know if many teams are going to want to pick that up unless if the Blue Jays eat some of it.
Now, I had heard this, but apparently the Blue Jays' pockets are deeper than we think. Like, I guess the owner of the Blue Jays is one of the richest owners in all of baseball. And as we showed, I mean, they matched the offer for Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They have the money to spend. So I have no doubt they would be okay with either eating a contract to get something good back in return. But even looking at their farm system, like, they have Orelvis Martinez, who's like their top prospect, and then that's really it. Like, Nate Pearson was supposed to be a guy for him, never panned out.
Didn't pan out.
Like, I wonder if they're actually going to look into trading like Vladdy Jr. or Bo Bichette.
That'd be wild. Try and get some value back.
Yeah. But no, it's just one of those things, like, I had been thinking about it with just like, they had their season where, they've won 90 games, but like they haven't even won a fucking playoff game with this core.
No. Some movie.
I feel like only real baseball fans will get that reference.
Indeed. But that's the people we're looking for.
Next thing. So watching this series as a whole has been interesting, to say the least, and a bit of a roller coaster of things. One of the things that came into my mind while watching this series, and there was one part where Yuke was talking about missed calls. I do have it down in my notes. But here's the thought I have. I mentioned it before in a podcast of, umpires putting glasses on and having the strike zone right in front of them so that they can see. I'll do you one better that's probably even easier to do. What we see on Nesson after a pitch, or any baseball broadcast for that matter, at what we see for the pitch, right, when it comes in and it shows us the strike zone and where it missed, just put that up on the screen right after the pitch. So he calls ball, and then boom, he sees that it's 6 inches outside. Nope, not a ball anymore. Or, I mean, whatever it is, vice versa. You know what I'm trying to say. But put that thing up on either the scoreboard after every pitch, or just have a separate little tiny scoreboard that has that view of the strike zone, and it shows where the pitch went.
It's not a bad idea. And going back to your statement last pod about Connor Wong always looking at the scoreboard after each pitch, I would understand that so much more if this was actually the case.
Exactly. I mean, I do know, going to Fenway plenty of times, like they do show the replay on things. So I know you're looking up there and
Yeah.
you're looking at the replay,
Yeah, for
what your
sure.
swing looked like and stuff like that. But we talked about how kids nowadays are raised by tablets instead of books. Connor Wong, definitely tablet baby.
Absolutely. That's what it looks
But
like.
yeah, just put a K zone on the jumbotron. That would probably solve a lot of issues. Don't even have to
Indeed.
head tap. Don't have to put on these crazy expensive sunglasses. Just throw a fucking jumbotron up there that shows where the pitch went, and
That's
either
all we
correct
gotta do.
it or just hold the umpire accountable and be like, "All right, I missed that call."
That's all we gotta do.
So before this game had ended, I had wrote down that since the finale of the National Series, we've gone win, loss, win, loss. So game 3 should be a win. That didn't happen. But I guess overall vibe check here. So after going through watching this series, our first taste of the ALE since Baltimore early on in the season and opening day and stuff like that at Fenway. What's your vibe check? How do you feel about these games overall? What you saw, things like that.
Pitching continues to do extremely well. Defense sucks. Still, 3-4 guys in the lineup are doing pretty well. Rest, horrific. Runners in scoring position, borderline, non-existent. Same shit, different toilet.
Same shit, different toilet. It's a great way to put it. Now, to your point, pitching is pitched pretty well. I mean, obviously, what they did at the beginning of the season wasn't going to be sustainable, and we've seen a little bit of aggression. But for the most part, though, they've looked pretty damn good. I mean, one of my first notes I wrote down in the first inning because Coop had 2 Ks in the first inning. I was like, Coop Criswell for Cy Young? Question mark. That very clearly went away after
tonight.
game 3. Yep, not to jump ahead, but jump ahead there. But for me, the big takeaway I took here, and to try to maybe spin it in a more positive light, because we're an optimistic, positive podcast here, even though the win got sucked out of my sails, is this team actually fought for once. So, like, after being down 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs, 5 runs, however many they were down, they actually put in an effort, it looks like, to score runs, which I know is a wild concept, but there was a lot of back and forth games here where we were up 1-0 and then it was tied, or then it was 2-1, then we came back and tied it, and a lot of back and forth games and runs being scored in multiple innings and in big spots. And that to me is something that I think we needed to see as Sox fans. Again, I know the series didn't go the way we wanted to, dropping 3 out of 4 against them, but we fought a little bit. And I know the runners in scoring position still was not great. The strikeouts still not great by any means. But the back and forth that we had, like there was no 1-0 games where offense just didn't show up and pitching truly did. And there was no like 9-0 blowout from us, which, don't get me wrong, love a good blowout, but it was nice to see runs scored in multiple innings and kind of a little back and forth, a little cat and mouse, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was good to see. We haven't seen that at all this season.
Yeah, you got a point. I really do like the fight, and when you combo that with what the pitching staff has been doing throughout the year, if they can continue the fight, good things should happen offensively there and in the win-loss column. Man, like this pitching staff, we talk about them a lot, and it's because they're doing great things. Through the first 43 games of the year, this doesn't include tonight's game, but through 43 games of a season, from game 1 to game 43, between 1971 and 2024, the 2024 Boston Red Sox pitching staff ranks 22nd in that span in ERA with a 2.24. Some other teams that are in that ballpark through 43 games. The 1981 LA Dodgers won the World Series. The 2018 Houston Astros, division champs and 103 wins. 72 Tigers. LA Dodgers is 72, NL pennant. Chicago White Sox of 2016, World Series champs and 103 wins. 2022 LA Dodgers, 111 wins.
So I got to stop you there, though. And the only reason I have to do that is because as great as the pitching staff has been and where those teams ended up, there was one graphic that was displayed on the post game show after yesterday's game, and it was swing and miss, most strikeouts by batters MLB this season, and the Red Sox are second. So the Mariners lead with 453 strikeouts. The Red Sox have 430, and then some of the other teams that are on this list, the top five: Athletics, then the Rockies, then the Pirates.
Wow.
Now, out of those five teams, none of those teams are very good. So as good as the pitching has been, I mean, it obviously just shows that like our offense hasn't showed up, and that's been the theme of this season. But like we are at the top of the list when it comes to pitching, and just at the bottom when it comes to strikeouts, runners in scoring position, and offense. And so it's so tough to win a game when you strike out 12 times a game.
Yes, that is a very good point.
But, it was made by a very wise man.
There is one thing that we can honestly do as an offense that can turn this around really fast, and it's not really it will take the strikeout total down from maybe 12 to 11 or 12 to 10 a game. Just put the ball in play. When there's a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs, don't strike out.
You and I both know, though, that's way harder to do than it seems.
Yeah, but like some of these, dude, like all you need to do is just hit a weak ass ground ball to the right side.
Yeah, but
or roll over.
To your point, that was more playing devil's advocate, because one of my biggest things here that I need to see that we just have not seen from the offense is adjustments and adaptability. And this team has not made any adjustments with 2 strikes, with runners in scoring position, nothing. So to your point, yeah, I would love to just say, put the ball in play, like make something happen, force pressure on the defense, whatever it may be. But again, we've seen no adjustments from hitters. We're like Raffy's still swinging at some bad like pitches out of the zone, making ridiculous swings. Tyler O'Neill had a game in the series going 0 for 4 with a golden sombrero. Like there just have been minimal to no adjustments, no adaptability to the pitching, nothing. And that to me is what's so frustrating, because this game is a game of adaptations and being able to adapt quickly on the fly, being able to make adjustments. And we have not seen that at all from the offense. And it is infuriating.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to see an adjustment based on the 44 game sample here and the same song and tune being sung here of our frustrations. I think what needs to happen is the pieces that you do not see here for the foreseeable future, and I mean foreseeable future after this year, very little future plan, okay? So like guys like Valdez, guys like, I know you love this prospect named Bob Dahlbeck, but guys like him, guys like Tyler O'Neill that's not cutting it as of right now, as of late. Guys like, I'm sorry to say it, but Reese McGuire potentially here, you know? You got to think out of the box like that. Maybe even I know he's been doing well, and he's been a big piece the last couple of years, but Nick Pivetta, because it's a contract year, he's going to be wanting probably close to $10 million a year after this year. See what kind of value you can get there. So, like, you can take these pieces, like David Hamilton, take these pieces, and you can get a guy that is not a league average guy by any means, like a Whit Merrifield here from Philly. And he can be your everyday guy, everyday platoon guy that's in the lineup every day, but at a different position. Instead of somebody like fucking Romy Gonzalez, you know, and all due respect to Romy, he's doing the job right now in this short sample size, but do you really think that's going to sustain through the whole interior year? I'm just trying to be realistic, dude, because like,
well,
if you take all these little pieces, you're going to find somebody that is going to be an above average league bat and defender that is going to be able to play a position that we are getting killed at right now.
100%. And to your point here, and I was going to say it earlier on too, is that like one of the other issues too, minus adjustments, is it's time to kind of face the facts that we're just not that good. Like, we are mediocre. We are full of quad A players. Like, we are not filled with guys that are cut out for everyday roles in MLB, aka Pablo Reyes. You know what I mean? Like, Romy Gonzalez is not an everyday guy as much as I love him right now. Dom Smith, not an everyday guy. Garrett Cooper's not an everyday guy. Like, Rob Refsnyder, not an everyday guy. I mean, we're seeing Wong and Reese switching off. I know Wong's having a ridiculous season right now, but like, again, we're seeing platoons when it comes to both of them. Like, a lot of our guys that are playing are not everyday guys. They're guys that would be role players on any other team, and that's what I think is finally settling in with me. Is as lovable as this team is when it comes to the guys and some of that chemistry and stuff like that, it's draining. Like, just realizing that, fuck, man, we're not that good. Like, our players, like, one of my favorite quick stories that has to do with this, I went to the ABCA convention one year and Buck Showalter was talking, and this was after he got fired from the Baltimore Orioles, before he was a manager for the Mets, and he interviewed for the Angels job before Joe Madden got it. And the Angels asked him, like, why do you think other teams are better in the division, are better than us? Like, what's different about this team versus other teams? And his answer was, well, they got better players. That's literally what he told the Angels front office. Well, they got better players. And truthfully, that's the case now when it comes to the Red Sox. Every other team has better players. Like Juan Soto, star. Aaron Judge, star. I know Garrett Cole's not pitching, but star. Okay, you have 3 stars on a team there. You look at the Baltimore Orioles, that is just filled with 26 stars. You look at those teams that are up there, the Dodgers, filled with stars. Like, we have Rafi Devers. And don't get me wrong, Rafi's great in his own regard and whatnot, but we just lack any sort of star power and leadership.
Yeah, we don't really have a leader. We've talked about it in the past. They're all hurt.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie. I try to keep this one as positive as I could, just because I can't take any more depressive stuff in my life. But that just got kind of really like kind of real for a minute there. That shit, this team ain't that good. I might as well cash out my $100 bet on the fucking World Series now.
Yeah. How much is that at now? Like $70?
It was at 65 yesterday when I put it in, but you know what? I may have to go take a look. It's probably down to like 30 now.
Yeah, I'd wait till after that 3-game Rays series, because if we go sweep that or win that,
I would rather cash it out and win that series. Oh no, that's not it. Oh, it's down to $43 now. It's tough. That's tough. $9,100 payout though. Still, maybe we'll just keep it alive for the boys. Forget that I placed in. If they win, awesome. All right, let's try to turn the tune here, even though it's not going to happen. Let's talk about these games, get them out of the way, and then go into the series, look ahead. Now, I will say this. The one thing that I love about taking notes during the games, and I started this on before Pod 1, obviously, and stuff like that, and just come prepared with things that pop in my head, is that without these notes, I would just be blowing up Twitter with my random, like emotional tweets, you know what I mean? And it's so nice to not have to do that. I'd probably be blocked by 100. Yeah, for the public's sake. Like, it's good for them. Alrighty, Tampa Bay Rays series game number 1. Do you have any game notes, by the way, or no?
Oh yeah, for all. Besides today's.
We could go back and forth with some of these if you want. So first one I wrote down. Yandy Diaz steps into the plate. Game 1. He's a leadoff hitter. And I go, who gets popped for steroids first, Adolis Garcia or Yandy Diaz? So I was looking at Yandy Diaz and I was like, that dude is fucking built, man. Like, his legs are the size of my fucking sunken in chest.
He's gotten massive, dude. And
like,
he's
over
got
the past
that
2 years.
stereotypical, like, hey, everyone, I'm taking steroids, goatee rocking right now. Like,
him and Adolis Garcia.
God, man, that goatee's ferocious. But the man's only batting .250 right now on the year, give or take. Little cold start, but Holy smokes, dude. He's a
big boy.
massive.
He is a big boy. Another note that I have here. Also, I apologize if there's some delay in here. Try to heard a noise downstairs. Thought he was going to have to go fend off and kill somebody. So if there's a little delay of what we talked about, apologize there. Rafaela almost catch of the year. Instead, Sox go down 2-0. Rosario with the 2-run scoring double. This was the play in center where Rafi booking for it, laid out, and it just hit off the tip of his glove out there in center. And that was almost a sick catch.
Would have been great. Really unfortunate bounce into the right center gap. And it ended up being a quote-unquote triple, and then followed up by a 2-out single to bring home Rosario. You hate to see that.
You do, but the thing that I love though is I feel like not many other center fielders would have actually had a chance to go and get that ball like the way that he did. And the thing that I love about Rafi, and we're going to see it in another play here in a game, in game 2, I think it's game 2 or 3, but he gets so mad when he doesn't make a play, because it goes back to one of the first comments he made in Oakland when he made that catch off Shea Langoliers. He's like, when a ball's hit, I expect it to be in my glove.
That he does, and you can see the frustration on him. I just don't want him to get too frustrated with himself. Gonna need you still out there, buddy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sorry.
You're good. One of the funny things here is Trotta's headphones died, and unfortunately, when you're live recording, you can't turn on echo cancellation here, so he's got to keep muting and unmuting his mic. So you hear long pauses here. It's because I'm waiting for Trotta to mute his mic.
Oh, we're gonna edit those right out. You're gonna see just smoothness in the operation here.
Smooth as butter in a baby's bottom.
Like a crisp breeze.
Crisp summer breeze, brought to you by Gino's Candles. Buy 7, get 1 free. Then I said the wind in my sails is celibate as we speak. Don't blame the pitching. Offense is just non-existent. Will your hot streak incoming? And then I think he got on with a single. No, he got on with a double at that point. And then Devers hits a chopper down the line.
Single.
Thank you. Devers hits a chopper down the line that turns into a double. He hit this thing and it bounced, and the first baseman thought it was foul. Just goes up and over his head. Boom, turned it into a double.
Rafi thought it was foul.
Yeah, everybody thought it was foul. And that was just a very funny play. And that's just baseball sometimes. You're going to hear, that might be my quote of the year, is that's just baseball, where Wilyer Abreu can hit one out to freaking dead center field and it get caught, and he made just such a good play on that, but not a great result, made it out. And you got Rafi Devers, who tops a ball straight into the ground and turns it into a double.
And then a beautiful thing happened, McDaniels. I shot you the text. I shot it out to existence. I felt it in my bones after we sat there for approximately 15 minutes last pod and broke it down about Tyler O'Neill's woes with runners in scoring position at the plate. I said, you know what? T.O.'s going to get a tank right here to get that monkey off his back, take that risp off his shoulders. And what did he do? T.O. delivered with that 3-run tank with runners in scoring position to tie up the game 3-3 and to put Cutter Crawford and the boys on his back. Trotty's crystal ball gets one right again. Pew pew.
I'm looking for this real quick, but literally I'm looking for the text. We text a lot when these games go on. And I said, no, that was game 2. Wow. All right, I'm not going to be able to find the text, but literally, you did text me and you were like, I'm feeling a fucking 3-run homer here. And my next note after that was Tyler O'Neill fucks. The celibacy ride is over. Clearly, I was wrong about that, but we're not going to jump ahead yet. 3-run homer ties it 3-3, bottom of the first. This is just the bottom of the first inning, game 1 here. And then immediately after that, I said, and Dom Smith, rally killer. I miss Bob.
Enough.
Last comment was, what a wild first inning. 3-3. Just the chopper down the line, all that stuff. I have a question for you. So in game 1, is zoomed in on Duran's wrist and the stuff that he has in his wrist, and it has writing on the inside of one of them. Do you know what that says?
It's my background. It says fuck them.
Okay. I just didn't know if it said, does Duran's tip race say fuck me? I thought it said fuck me because at first I thought maybe it said to like believe in him or like something like religious. And I was like, because it zoomed right in his batting stance. I was like, that definitely says fuck me on there.
What do you think this like bad teacher? Try fuck the fuck out of me, Scott. No, motivational. Fuck them. Fuck them haters. Fuck them all.
But like I can so picture Duran being the guy though that has written on his wrist every time he looks down that says fuck me. Like you fucking suck. Go out there and fucking hit the ball, you fucking pansy.
It just makes all the more sense that it's fuck them. Gets me going, man.
It 100% does. Once I saw that, I was like, season's back on. And then that abruptly got...
Yeah, it quickly came to a halt.
Quickly. So I am going to maybe... This might be tougher than I thought now with this situation, but I wanted you to act out something with me. But there was at one point in the broadcast where Yuke goes, we've almost seen 100 pitches the first 2 innings. And OB immediately goes, that's amazing. Like I wish I could have brought up the audio clip, but how quickly and like OB with his monotone voice, like, wow, we've almost seen 100 pitches and we're only 2 innings in this. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
So I need you to be Uke, and I need you to say, we've seen almost 100 pitches first 2 innings, and then mute it immediately.
Man, we've seen almost 100 pitches in 1 inning.
That's amazing. That's literally like how quick it was. It was just, it made me laugh for some reason, especially with OB's like monotone voice.
And it could have gone so much more into depth there. And I think that's what Uke was looking for. But nope, just cut to cold and dry.
Yep. Like, because if you really think about it, 2 innings into the game, both starters are at and around 50 to like 51 pitches or something like that. And we've seen 100 pitches. Like, we've seen a complete game's worth of pitching in 2 innings. Wild to me.
Insanity.
Next note, Bayo sounds like he's speaking Pig Latin, and this is no knock or anything on anybody that speaks Spanish, but like when he talks...
You're canceled. That's it. Get out. Get out of here. You're gone.
It's no knock on Spanish-speaking individuals at all. I wish I knew Spanish, but like hearing like Wilger Abreu talk versus Brian Bayo, like I was like, no idea what's happening there.
2 minutes long of Bayo talking in Spanish, and then the interpreter going, see, and then having to go back and say it back in English, and then getting it from the reporter again, listening to all of it. Oh, yeah, I got you, bro. Yeah, sure. And speaking in Spanish back to Brian Bayo, and it's just a never-ending carousel for 20 minutes.
Sure isn't. It just goes back and forth. Don't get me wrong. I like the in-game interviews. They're nice, but like, could we not do them every night? Like maybe once a week. That I think that would be beneficial.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. I could do with a lot less of them. Save them for the All-Star games. Save them for the ESPN games. We don't need them every time on this one.
Like pre and post game, you know what I mean? Like, Brian Bayo, how did it feel to have your first start back? Like things like that we're talking about. That's all pre and post game.
Yeah, that'd be ideal.
Next note, I've never seen an outfielder run as hard as Wilyer Abreu does after a baseball. Like, I swear to God, this man sprints 150% after everything.
Trot Nixon.
Good comp. However, I guess Trot looked like he had to run hard, but like Trot wasn't the fastest guy in the world.
No, similar body types here too.
Really try to mute my mic on that one.
It sounded good. That's all that matters.
Good
right quality mic
Caballero,
over there.
It picks up everything. It's fucking amazing. Caballero scores on a sac fly by Yandy Diaz, 4-3 Rays. And then I said Yandy Diaz is just a Sox killer because the first 2 games he kind of went off a little bit with what he was hitting. And then I was like, what happened to Randy Arozarena? This dude was like a star in the making. And I don't know if he just shows up in the postseason or if it's what it is, like what's going on with him. But like his swing looks so bad.
Yeah, it's really pull happy. All of his hits for power are to the pull side, and that, spoiler alert, continues in the series here as we look deeper into it, and we'll get into that. Yeah, going back to your Yandy Diaz statement, like if Randy Rosarena looks like he's gained 35 pounds of muscle in like 4.5 months. Does not look normal. One of these two have to be juice, and if not both of them. It looks a little sketchy. Not trying to go too deep into it, but Jesus. Anyways, adding on to your whole sack fly thing, I was bullshit at Cutter Crawford, man. The run game control there was horrific. That guy stole third fucking base with less than 2 outs. And then, same freaking at bat, there's the sack fly. Okay? If you do not allow that to happen and you vary your looks, vary your goddamn timing, like a good boy should in the major leagues, that run doesn't score, Mac. And it would be 3-3. Next note. Damn. Durant gets tossed at second base. Feels like this right here may be the game in the 5th, despite it just being 4-3 Rays.
I was going to say, to your point, is they talked about this. I think Alex Cora talked about it after game 2 or 3, maybe, because I definitely wrote notes on it. But Alex Cora had said, like, we got to be better at holding runners is really what it comes down to. And even you talked about it. Like, he gave him his typical one look and then went. So what we call that is a one look read. So as soon as he turns his head, we start shuffling. And once we see that leg go up, we take off for third base.
You do that twice in the majors as a pitcher. They're stealing it every time on the third pitch. This is not middle school baseball. This is not high school junior varsity.
And let me ask you this as a pitching coach, and especially with what you do as a full-time job now, like, what is the number one job as a pitcher when you have a runner on second base? At least what I've taught my players.
I mean, you can't just get into a pattern there, number one. You can't get into a hold pattern. You can't get into a look pattern. The biggest thing that I'm trying to prevent is that guy to score if he is on second base. Attacking the batter and changing my hold timing in my looks all day. Those are my controllables right there. How I'm attacking the batter and how I'm controlling my run game with holds and looks.
And how we do that exactly, though, is simply, like you said, mixing up looks. But what that does is it stops the runner's feet at second base. Like, I feel like that's our number one job with a runner on second base, and especially a green light runner. You got to stop his feet from moving, because that's the one thing Cutter didn't do. He gave that one look, turned his head, feet kept moving, he kept creeping, and then leg up, boom, third base.
Something that is interesting that I think you'll like on this, Northeastern University, the way they hold runners at second base, they perform something that you don't see every day. It's called the no-look read. And they're pretty much classifying one look as you looking, and then you're further side from home plate going back to home plate. Northeastern pitchers are tasked and trained during the off seasons when they're working from the stretch and holding runners for about 10 to 12 of those pitches to act like there's a runner on second, and they're just holding their look at the runner the whole entire time. And that is their philosophy and approach, it appears, to freeze the runner's feet and to keep them there and keep them grounded.
First off, shout out J-Bo, Jack Beauchane's. Is that who you learned that from or talked to about that with?
Yeah.
Love that. He's closing out games for Northeastern. And actually, Northeastern in game 2 is going to get a little love here. Just saying.
Love it. Looking forward to it.
My last note on this game, and if you have anything to add, feel free before we give the full roundup here. Cutter maturing as a pitcher. Really had to grind out 6 innings, especially after throwing 50 pitches through 2 innings. And I think that's huge. He may not dominate every time out, but we're seeing a big maturity in him as a pitcher, grinding through those innings to get to the 6th inning.
Absolutely. He's been crushing it. I mean, perfect timing where my notes will pick up where you left off. I'll give it to Cutter, despite 3 runs in the first, giving us a lot of length in this start, continuing to go 6 deep each time here, and it's consistent. Next note here. Wong keeps showcasing that chooch. Keep running on us. We'll take free outs. Keep running on us. I dare you. Next note. God, we cannot hit with runners in scoring position. Brutal, painful, miserable, pathetic. All of it. Wrapped into one with a bow on top. Next note. Lau, only 1 for 4 with a double so far here, is a blessing. Good hitter. Rosario, though, not as fortunate. Duran played the monster horribly there. What the hell was that? Trying to make a catch or play it off the wall? Not both. Ugh, frustrating. Especially from an outfielder that's been getting 91st percentile in outs. Wong continues to swing it well. Next one. Umpire screwed Rafi. My God, that sucks. In a really big spot, too. Last one here. Romy in the 9th with 2 outs in the tying run. Let's go. Fuck. Game over. 1-0 Rays in the 4-game series. Pain.
That it sure is. 5-3 loss. Could have go 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Weiser was not great out of the bullpen. 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 2 Ks. Let's see. O'Neill hit his 10th home run, 3 RBIs, and Abreu 2 for 3 with his 10th double. Some notable things there.
Yeah.
Game 2. Very first thing, my first note. Well, maybe down 1. We'll give the offense some drive to score some runs. Josh Lowe hits a home run, 1-0.
God damn it, Lau. Double and a home run in 2 games. 5 at-bats. Intentionally walk on the rest of the series, please. Cora and Bailey. Please.
He couldn't have just stayed on the DL, just like or IL, sorry, a little bit longer. You know what I mean?
Just a bit longer. Just a little bit longer. That's all we needed.
That's it.
Shout out to Aaron Savali. Didn't know he was from Connecticut. East Windsor, Connecticut, to be exact.
That he is, and actually Savali's going to get some love here in the next 2 notes. 1, Pavetta struggling for feel for his sweeper. He was bouncing that thing, throwing it outside. Definitely struggled with feel for that. Garrett Cooper still doesn't know how to grab boobies. I forgot who it was, but somebody hit a double and, was up here doing this. And Garrett Cooper, and it shows the line of the people that are in the dugout, and all of them are doing something crazy. And then there's him just going.
He's grabbing A-cups.
What I didn't know, and this is where Northeastern's going to get a little love, Aaron Savali went to Northeastern and actually pitched against the Red Sox in their annual spring training game and struck out David Ortiz and Hanley Ramirez.
I took that off of the series look-ahead pitching stats, just to clarify from last pod.
I love that. Keep it a little surprise and throw it out there. So it's just cool. And actually, ironically enough, too, his first time pitching on Fenway in Boston in Fenway.
That's pretty cool for him. Happy for Savali. Good for him. I think you're going to like my next note after this Savali crap. Johnny DeLuca here looks like a guy who fits the whole he'll get DFA'd around August and wind up on this Red Sox roster kind of guy. He has the name too, and he just fit the mold. I mean, he looks like a super util guy too, just a scrappy guy who's going to wear his socks high with the Red Sox and everything and just be a grip ball for that last, 30, 40 games that we need out of him when everybody else is hurt and our minor leaguer prospects suck. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I can see Johnny DeLuca being DFA'd and on the Boston Red Sox by sometime in August. Johnny DeLuca sounds like a kid that's batting 3rd for frickin' Wakefield right now. Wakefield High School. He's worried about his frickin' AP economics exam. Meanwhile, he's got a game at fucking Fenway Park here for the Tampa Bay Rays at 7:10. Poor guy's just trying to get into frickin' Harvard.
So, Johnny DeLuca, I would disagree with you about the DFA thing. However, I would love to see it. Not that he was like a top prospect or anything like that, but he was a prospect in the Rays organization. Or actually, no, he was part of the.
I was completely
trade.
Just his look.
Oh, okay.
Just his look.
Just his look. Okay, that makes much more sense. I forgot he was part of that trade that sent Manuel Margot to the Dodgers, and boom, sent him back to the Rays. He
freaking roped the double this game too. Right after I said that.
And he's actually going to get a little shout out in the notes too, because Yuke's comment on him. He's like, holy crap, this guy looks like he's just trying to pull a full Napoleon Dynamite right now. Like, because he had his helmet off after he was at third base and his hair looked worse than yours does. And it's just out there and mustache.
Unreal stash. He would fit in well with the Sox.
EMG, best mustache game. It's a stat. Look it up. Sox have it.
Stat head.
Next note, and this actually pertains to something I just said previously. I love how mad little Raffy gets when he doesn't make a play. And it's because he wants to make every play. And this was the play at shortstop where he laid out fully, had in his glove, went to get up and just kind of lost it on the transfer. And he was so mad he slammed his glove on the ground. And to your point, though, and it actually makes a lot of sense now. I just don't want him to get too mad at himself. Like, I love the fact that you expect to make every play, but go move on to the next one, which we will talk about.
100%, especially when it's not at your primary position.
Amen. Next note, Dever pops up to shortstop and is just completely dropped by the Rays. I don't know how that happens at a major league level.
Third baseman was saying that it was the wind.
It can be a little breezy in Boston, but no excuse. You're a Major League Baseball player. And you know what?
They play in a dome.
They do. So they're not used to it. But to time out on this and bring this way back to the top about when we vibe checked on this team, and I talked about adjustments and adaptability. One of the big issues, though, too, I have with this is these are Major League Baseball players. They are the best at what they do. They should be able to adapt and make adjustments on the run, on the fly. They are the best at what they do. The best in the business. There's a reason they are on our TV. They should be able to make adjustments.
That they should be able to, but lo and behold, we cannot.
Amen. Next note, Tyler O'Neill with a hit with a runner on. Is the world ending? Granted, I know he hit a 3-run home run the night before, but granted, it was an RBI, but he got a hit with a runner on, and I was very happy to see that.
I brushed off my glasses to make sure I saw it correctly, but yes. And he indeed squeezed them titties afterwards.
Honka honka, burn in love. Dom Smith scoring 2 runs on a double. The littlest things make me believe again. And it's so sad. And I know it's a long season. We're 43 games into this. And you really shouldn't live and die by every game. But it's so hard to when you're so invested in them. Where it's like, oh shit, Dom Smith hits a double. We're up 2-1. Like, we're back in this, baby. And I get right back into the game. And then something stupid always happens.
It's really nice when your first baseman or first baseman can put the ball in play, is it not?
It's amazing when that can happen. Know where you're going with that, and no other further comment.
Proceed with your notes.
To all of baseball, this has to do with what you had said. Have you learned to not run on the Red Sox at this point? We're going to get you. And I literally thought of the Allstate commercial, or Jake from State Farm type thing, and the guy's like holding the little fishing rod, and he's like, not close enough. We're going to get you. Like, I'm going to get you. Nope. And he just keeps falling back. And that's what I thought of. Like, we're going to get you every freaking time at this point. We're throwing out runners. We may not be able to hold them well, but we're throwing out runners.
Damn right. That platoon and the catching spot right there. QB1 and QB2, Connor Wong and Reese McGuire, chooching souls left and right. And it ain't stopping and it won't stop. So keep on stealing. We'll take the free outs.
I do have another note, too, about Raffy that's going to have to come back to this. And it is in this final game. But next note, Dave O'Brien is not as old as I thought he was. Like, I looked it up today, he's 60 years old, but like when you see him on the broadcast with his hair slicked back and he's shaved up and glasses on, I'm like, I kind of thought you were like 70 with like white hair. Granted, he definitely dyes his hair.
Just for men, jet black, baby. All day.
All day. Little Raffy sends a bum-ass pitch from Zavali over the monster, 3-1. I got very excited in that moment.
Yeah, that was a bomb.
Curveball in on the hands, over. And then immediately after that, I think Randy Rosalina led off the inning. And I say Randy makes it 3-2 with a solo home run over the monster. Well.
Yep, that ball went 107 off the bat. He paused at third base, did his little hands folded across his chest look for about half a second to the third base dugout and proceeded to score.
Got booed like crazy by the Boston fans after that.
Good.
I agree. At the same time, I think Youth made the note that he does it after every home run, I guess. But
yes, he does.
Still.
Have some feel. You're losing in the game at that time, too.
Mm-hmm. But not for much longer. Josh Lowe hits a double, and then Isak Paredes hits a bloopy little single, and that's just baseball sometimes. 3-3, tied game.
Well, man, like, dude, like, goddamn it, Tyler O'Neill made the same freaking mistake in left field off the monster, playing it off the wall like that, just like Jarren Duran did the day before. All right, and then the next day, they make us pay with 2-out hit with the runner in scoring position. Great. The Red Sox should really take notes on this runners in scoring position fiasco shit, because the Tampa Bay Rays are damn efficient.
To your point, just put the ball in play.
That's all we need to do. Stop fucking striking out.
So this was a play that you and I both texted each other about, but I had made the note, and this might have been in the heat of the moment. I said, Rafi's getting a little cocky at third now. This was the play where there was a ball to his left that I don't want to say had no business going to get, because you are taught if you're a third baseman, you have a better angle to that ball in relation to first base to get that out. But I believe that was a miscommunication between Rafi and Little Rafi, because I fully believe Little Rafi should have said something like, hey, I'm closer to you in the hole. Anything to your left, I'm here. And that's where communication between middle infielders needs to be huge, especially when you're shifting.
Rafi beat that ball and was ready in a backhand position to work momentum through a backhand throw. He was going to shoot that guy with like a 92-mile-an-hour throw in the 5-6 hole. No problem. Meanwhile, Rafi had to fall to his knees in not borderline, lay out for the baseball. That's a simple ball that you got to do when the ball's off the bat.
It starts, though, even just before that. Again, Sedane shifting over that close to third base, you got to communicate with him and be like, anything to your left, I am there. And
either that or look left.
I can see that being a little, to a certain extent, Rafi's playing more in that scenario, and Sedane's behind him. So, you look to your left, you're not going to see him directly behind you. But also, to a certain point, you should probably be checking depth of the outfielders after every batter.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Then I made my Jumbotron strike zone comment. Then I said the tough part about playing in Boston is you actually have to be good to be loved. I don't know what this was referring to. It could just be the fact that this team kind of stinks and has a lot of quad A type players and stuff like that. But yeah, that is kind of the tough part about being in Boston. You truly have to be good to be loved, unless you are just one of those role players that comes in and gets a hit off the bench or something like that, and every here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. Harsh fan base, you have to be good in order for them to have interest.
And then I said, Chris Martin, looking like old Chris Martin lately, and that's a very big positive sign to see. He had his early season struggles there a little bit with not being able to find the zone, but he's looking, I don't know if he stepped into Professor Bailey's laboratory and maybe did some work, but he's pounding the strike zone again.
Definitely is. And goddamn, did he make an unbelievable PFP. 2 in a week, man. This one was even more dangerous and life-threatening than the first one. And this man fell to his back, laid down, looked up at God, and was praising him up and down for making that play and not taking off his head.
1,000%. My note was, holy fuck, Chris Martin. The ball came back to him, so after he released it, and then he had to go back this way, catch it, and then he literally laid there for 10, 15 seconds afterwards, just on his back.
He got up really slow, and the trainers had to come out at the end of that inning because it was the third out. And I would not be surprised if his old ass, especially how big he is, bigger they are, the harder they fall. And the way he had to tweak his back around and recoiled his body 2 times in 0.5 seconds. His back must have popped or tweaked in some fashion there. So now we're going to have 2 old asses in our bullpen with questionable backs right now, I think, and Martin and Kenley.
See, I'm on the opposing side to you. I know he had a little bit of a grimace in his face there, but I think he was just laying there more just like you said, oh, thank you fucking God for letting me catch that ball.
Yeah, those sort of situations when you get a comebacker as a pitcher, you kind of don't really know how to react split second after it. It is really takes everything out of your mind and everything out of your body when those things happen, because you truly see your life.
I mean, I played first base throughout high school and the little bit of college time that I did have in a fall season. Like, and it's not necessarily the hot corner, but like a pitcher, even still, you're much closer. Like one of the scariest things as a first baseman is when you're charging in hard on a bunt, like you're crashing, and then they pull back like they are going to swing, and you're like, fuck.
That's terrorizing. Especially like whether you're first or third baseman and that shit happens. I've never seen that successfully pay off, and like somebody comes back and then swings, and like a third baseman or first baseman actually get drilled. Cool story, real quick. Like it'll take 30 seconds before we go in to our rest of our game 2 notes. Pitching on the mound in college against our rival St. Joe's, and it's like late in the game. And a comebacker comes at me. And the one time that I get this right on like a really fast, hard comebacker right back at my throat and I catch it, I fell on my ass because of how hard it hit. I'm a small, skinny guy. Like the ball took me and almost threw me into my outfield center fielder's glove, for Christ's sake. But it put me back on my ass and I catch it. And I toss the ball back out of my glove and then go, John Cena, you can't see me, with my just on my ass in the landing strip of the mound, and walk off the mound after that. It was insane. I don't know how I thought of that in that moment, because despite all that and doing it that quick and having that reaction, dude, like you completely go blank and like black out in those moments.
So one of the things that I don't even think I made a note on it, but we've talked about it before, but like you kind of have to be a psychopath to be a relief pitcher, and especially a lefty one for that matter. But like just a psychopath in the head. You scream, right. You scream the type that in college was an absolute psychopath on the mountain. Like you can't see me shit.
Yup, and I'm not going to strike intimidation into people. Like, let's be real. Like 155, 160 pounds soaking wet in my playing days. Like, I'm not an intimidating guy, so I got to do a little weird stuff like that to be a little more psychological than the average bear. There is one specific time, like I played with a lot of Spanish guys, so like I knew how to get in their heads a little bit. And like again, playing St. Joe's, we played them a bit considering they were our rivals. One of their guys walks in, like one of their 3-4 Spanish hitters. And when he walks in, it was like a big spot, first and third, 2 outs or something like that, 1-run game. And he just looking at me. I noticed that he's looking at me, like you're timing me up a little bit before he steps in the box, like checking me out. And I just look at him, smile, wink, and give him like a, how you doing? How you doing, baby? This guy looked at me like I was Clay Aiken with a Speedo on. Like, he was so shook. I threw 3 fastballs by that guy. He looked at me after the fact, and I did the same exact thing after him, and he, like suspectfully walked back into the dugout, and I have never felt more of like I won that one, motherfucker, ever in my life after that.
That's great. Like, just the swag and confidence to sit there and just be like, what's up, baby? Huh? How you doing? Yeah, step into my office.
This dude thought that I was going to have him step into my office and I was going to step into his back office. And he was so rattled at that he struck out on 3 goddamn pitches, that poor man.
Instead, you just snuck through the back door in the office and said, motherfucker, I'm here.
Amen. You're not anymore. Go back to the dugout. Anyways, yeah, relief pitchers, really tough job. And comebackers, not fun. But, dude, that's a story that, like, I tell still to this day, that little comebacker story. And Chris Martin's for sure going to tell that one forever, like forever for his playing career, without a doubt. And I guarantee you that little picture that you sent me of him, like sprawled out in the middle of Fenway Park, that's going to be like signed as an autograph for Chris Martin specifically at the 8x10s that they sell at like sports memorabilia stores, like Phil Castanetti's Sports World memorabilia shop. Like he's going to have a bunch of those printed out in the next couple of weeks, and Chris Martin's going to be there for a freaking signing, I bet. Like somebody's going to have to take advantage of that little screenshot that you sent and have Chris Martin autograph that, because that is an all-time picture and all-time moment.
All-time moment right there, and like just sprawled out on the mound in Fenway Park like this. But even Uke sat there and goes, they're probably going to paint some white tape there or chalk that outline of that body afterwards.
No doubt, dude. That's great. I didn't even catch that from Uke.
Oh, it was funny. So next note, Martin and Bailey sitting next to each other in the dugout, and they're probably laughing at like they're looking at the iPad and like they're kind of giggling. And now you just move your arms 45 degrees south and spread your arms out further, and you have what we call a snow angel. Like that's what they're talking about in the iPad.
That you probably are spot on.
And ironically enough, I like screenshotted this picture right after. Oh, did I delete it? I did.
Damn it!
Right after I screenshotted the Chris Martin one. Recently deleted. Let's take a look here. Here it is. Nope, that one's in at bat. I got to send this to you just because I think this one's like just as funny to a certain extent. I'll send that to you after. Next note, it's about time I see Kenley throw over to first base. Jesus Christ. Then Kenley thought that ball was gone. I forgot whoever hit it. It was whoever was batting before Palacio in the ninth, but he hit it and Kenley like turned and was like, you could see it in his face, like thank God that wasn't gone.
I noticed that.
Then I got a Trotta. You were right. When Kenley knows someone's going to run, he's a little bit quicker to the plate. Risto's out Rosario to keep the game tied heading into the ninth.
Yes, sir. Kenley in a non-save situation gets it done.
Next note here. So inning ends, we get out of that good. Pete Fairbanks comes in, and I make the note, and this goes back to what we just talked about. I said Pete Fairbanks makes me nervous in these situations because he's a bona fide psychopath. Like if you're looking at him, like he's like bona fide psychopath, and it makes me it makes me think of the video when it was like 2-3 weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, and they're like, Pete, like, how'd you like? What's your takeaway from that outing? And he's like, just sucked. Overall, got to be better. Just sucked. Got to rectify that. But I just sucked.
Yeah.
And then I made the note that kind of a power move by Fairbanks, and I'm curious your take on this. His glove just says Pete. Like, I feel like most Major League Baseball players have like Fairbanks, Duran, Abreu, like their last name on it. His just says Pete. Muted.
That must be Pete's nickname.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was a power move. Just Pete.
How does this man not blink in competition? My eyes are on fire, Mac.
Still going. Oh, there it is.
I have to blink. I don't know how he does it.
But like just wide-eyed, and like there's another closer in the AL East who's just as fucking crazy, and that's Jordan Romano. Like if you've ever seen, like he kind of looks like you, not gonna lie, with the fucking hair and the scruffy beard, but like this dude is like on the mound. He's looking at fucking like things that are not there.
Nothing tops that Wake Forest kid though. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes,
their reliever from 2 years ago when Red
wasn't he
Lauder
like?
was there with him. He was all coked out there. He was and like throwing the glove all over the place, like quadruple spinning it in the air after punch outs, like bare chested, like popping a button and just flexing to his center fielder. It's just melting face on the mound constantly. You don't know that guy, you need to look.
Then I said Johnny DeLuca or Napoleon Dynamite. I was thinking that, and you said it on the broadcast, and I even tweeted out a picture of it because it was just fucking priceless. And then I said, perfect time for a Vaughn Grissom walk-off. And then immediately, Andy hits into a double play.
Unfortunate. But you know who came to play in Game 2? Zach fucking Kelly, after struggling the last couple of times out. This motherfucker dealt. Threw up a goose egg for the boys. Melted face. Walking off the bump. Hell yes, I love it, Kelly. I love it.
He did let up a run, but it was that inherited runner. Because it was the top of the 10th when he came in, so it was that stupid runner on second base.
He didn't give up a run.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah.
Like 90% certain that he let up a run. Yes, he did. It wasn't an earned run. It was the inherited runner.
He gave up a run there?
Yeah, it was the runner that was on second.
Wasn't that the second inning from that little Rafi throwing error?
It might have been, but regardless, it was the inherited runner.
All right. But nonetheless, he melted face walking off the mound after that, and it was just incredible. And right after that, right after we get handed that gift, we line out into a double play to the pitcher. and get double up at first, double up at second. Like, are we serious? That's the kind of luck we're gonna have tonight.
But in the was that this game? I think it was the play where it was come back to the pitcher and infield was in, and so he turned to go throw to second, but Jose Caballero just was standing like well in front of second base. So then he went to go turn and throw to first, and he didn't have an out at first. And was that this game in the bottom of the ninth? I think.
Replay the game. Replay the play again.
It was a comebacker to the pitcher with runners on first and third, I think. And he went to go throw to second base. Infield was in, but Jose Caballero was playing well in. So he went to go turn and he went to go throw to second. But
that was this game. That was the 11th. And then what do you call it? Kelly didn't give up a run that 10th. Palacios struck out. Aranda grounded out to the pitcher. DeLuca to third. Ramirez strikes out swinging.
So
Kelly walks off the mound raging. He didn't even give up the inherited runner. It was 3-3. And then
in his 2 innings pitch, he didn't though.
In that first inning, in the top of the 10th, 0. Then bottom of the 10th, we didn't get anything done. Grissom lined into that double play. McGuire grounded out to the catcher. Then 11th, Gonzalez grounded out to first. Runner moved over to third. Arozarena grounded into that fielder's choice with that pickle from third to home with that base runner. We intentionally walked. They listened to my game 1 notes with Lau and intentionally walked them. And then there was that ground ball to Little Rafi where Arozarena scored on that error. Paradis was safe at first on the throwing error and advanced to second with Lau going to third, followed by the Eddie Rosario flyout to make it 4-3.
Gotcha. Okay, so he did still let up a run, though. Was my point? It wasn't earned, but he still let up a run.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what this is referring to. I can't remember the play exactly, and this is the tough part where like I should probably like do like a post game like video of myself talking about it. But I said Romy wanted to score. Don't hate it though. Don't hate it. Tough play, but kill me. I don't know exactly what happened. And then I said, despite the base running mistake, Romy's still the best first baseman on this team right now.
So far, so good.
Then I said, what the fuck's going on? Umpire has zero idea how to work his microphone. He's literally sitting there hitting the back pocket, and then he's talking, thinking that we're all going to hear it. Doesn't. And literally had no idea what was going on. And I said, Phil has to figure out his microphone. Rafi good at field. And then there was at one point, it might have been the 11th or top of the 12th. Sorry, go ahead. Okay. It might have been the 11th or top of the 12th, but Bailey makes a mound visit, and it might have been talk to Kelly or something like that. But what I loved about this mound visit is normally when you see pitching coaches come out to the mound, they walk out slowly to buy them some time, and then they get out there and you know they're having a full conversation with their hand covered and mouth covered and all this stuff. Bailey walks out there and he's just laughing. I forgot what it was. It might have been a like double play or something like that, like some goofy play. It might have been the rundown play with a Rosarena or something like that. I think it was the rundown play because that's what it was. It was the rundown play, and it took definitely too many throws. Like they should have got him after the first or second throw, and I think they ended up making 4 throws. So Bailey goes out to give the guy some time to, you know, catch their breath and stuff, and he's out there and he's just laughing. Like you see him walk into the mound and he's smiling and laughing, and I love to see it. I know it's so dumb, but something little like that. Like he probably walked out there and was like, you must be fucking gassed right now. Rafi, you had to run after that fucker the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? Like just shooting the shit, like taking their mind off the game for a brief second. And I love that.
Keep the boys loose, and then the last 10 seconds is like, all right, hey, lock it back in. Big spot. Let's get it out.
Then I said, Stats tweeted it, but little Rafi's not great going towards shortstop and second base with his plays. Rafi making error. Rafi makes error. It's 4-3 Rays at this point. But yeah, Stats had tweeted it out, and something about how Devers is moving up in defensive like outs above averages and stuff like that, but little Rafi is really struggling with like certain plays, and that being one of them.
Reminder, he's not a shortstop.
Did play in the minors though, like played plenty.
He's supposed to be a Gold Glove generational center fielder for the Boston Red Sox.
Will be at one point. Then I said, kill me now, because I think it was that play. And then I said, you know what I love? Little Rafi makes an error, but then gets a bunt down on a very, very tough pitch. That next inning, you know, you make an error and all this stuff, and it sucks. Didn't take him with him into his at bat. gets a very tough pitch down for a bunt. Team player. And that's why I think this team's special. Again, doesn't take much for me to buy back in.
Selfless at-bats will get you there.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of notes on game 2. I apologize. Then I said, oh, my God, thank you, Ray. Sweet Jesus. So this is the play. Pitcher didn't go. Second baseman didn't go to second base for double play. Rodriguez fielded choice. Rob Rossauer gets the first base. Hamilton scores. It's 4-4. Then that brought up Connor Wong. And I was like, Wong's the best 2-out hitter in baseball right now. This is not a good recipe. And then I said, never mind, hit by pitch. And I said, bold move by Kevin Cash to hit Wong to have to face Devers. We've seen this before. And then I also said, Devers needs to end it here so Wong doesn't have to catch because he got hit right on the knuckle of his catching hand and Reese was already taken out of the game, so he had to catch. Then I said, or ground out to second base. Game tied in 12-4-4. Peter Fairbanks' glove just says Pete, and I feel like that's a power move. Then I said, I got a bad feeling here with Bernardino on the mound in the last half inning, and I shouldn't have. I realized that he's probably one of the best pitchers in this bullpen. Terrible take. And then immediately after that inning, Romy Gonzalez walks it off with a single down the right line, and I was like, I literally was typing out my tweet as Romy stepped in the box. I just had this gut feeling he was going to walk off that game.
And he did.
Pivetta, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 0 walks, 8 Ks. Pretty good outing considering his last start against the, the Braves. And then Slayton came in and pitched, Martin, Jansen, Kelly, and Bernardino. And pretty much everybody had like 1 hit. Moving on to game 3, unless you got any more game notes.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Game 3. I'm going to try to cruise through these. David Hamilton actually made a play. That's all. It was that diving play in the first to his left, and he got up, and I was like, holy shit, he actually made a play.
Miracle.
Angry Lizard, double 10th of the year. Fucking amazing that we have a true leadoff guy for once. That was one of our biggest issues for the past 3 years was not having a leadoff guy. So having Jarren Duran there and actually having a true leadoff game, so nice.
Grab those knockers.
William, Big Dong Wong, beautiful swings and contact, just wrong part of the field. They both flew out the deep center. Like, cameraman didn't tickle and tease me this time, but they were great swings, just caught in the track.
At least we got a run from Wong.
Yes, we did. Sack fly, 1-0 Sox, bottom of the first. Random question for you. Thought about this during the game. Would you rather bring up a third catcher on this team and send Hamilton down or keep Hamilton? Because a lot of times we have both catchers hitting and whatnot. So just have like a Roberto Perez would be perfect if he wasn't injured. But like a guy whose literally job is just to go in and catch if there's an emergency.
Yeah, and he can also play first a little bit too. And that would take away Romy from having to do that. And Romy can focus more on his primary and secondary, not third position and fourth positions. And that can probably provide Romy a little bit more value here too. I don't hate that because David Hamilton hasn't really done much at all positive here since being a Boston Red Sox.
Amen. All right, so I like that take because I thought about it. I was like, to this point, I think I'd rather like Tyler Heineman up here or something, just that third emergency catcher because both catchers are in the lineup constantly. And Cora likes to make those moves where, you're pinch hitting and stuff like that. You're running for a guy. And again, prime example, Wong gets hit off the hand and may not be able to finish that game. Like, that's tough.
Very true.
Then I said Bob would have caught that. I think that this was the double play.
I wrote this in my fucking notes, you asshole. I wrote, good job, Garrett. Yup. Shut up, Mac. Yup. Shut up. I know Bob would make that play. All right. I know. Tie game 1-1.
All right. Just want to make sure that that's clear.
Crystal clear. Crystal as crystal can get.
William Abreu, 2-run fucking shot rookie of the year, 2-1 Red Sox.
It was about time with how much consistency on the barrel Williers had in the last 5 days.
100%. I'm telling you that hot streak incoming.
Up again.
Next one here, and definitely skipped a little bit and waited because the game was kind of boring.
Wait. Lou called that Willier Abreu home run, by the way. Did you know that on the broadcast?
I didn't.
Yeah, Lou Merlone called that shit. It was a great shot call and his own personal crystal ball.
Gotta love Lou. Lou's electric. I need more of him in the booth. I hope he's in the St. Louis
Need it.
series.
Nesson's got to wake the hell up and hijack him from EEI.
Um,
They got a nice little sharing is caring thing going on with him. He's like being passed around like a little salute bag he is. Little 50-50 action, but like I would much rather him on the televised broadcast. Get him in there. It's so much better quality of a broadcast with Loomer Loney calling it.
a lot more
night and
insight.
day. 10 times better, and he just has the best feel out of all of them, even better than Uke. He's like when he's on, he just fills in at the right times, says the right shit. He has the playing experience, and he has the respect from OB as well. So like, he's not getting shit on and disrespected a lot like Will Middlebrooks is. Loomer Loney, in my eyes, man, really crazy take, but like, dude, they played the same position for the Red Sox. And like he's following in the footsteps after the playing career with it, getting into television and radio broadcasting. But Loomer Loney here, with his personality and how much love he has from the old school fan base and this new school fan base, younger than us, he's that Jerry Remy of like this younger generation coming up. Put this guy in the booth, and he's going to warm the hearts and be the beloved voice of the Boston Red Sox until he is done with it and like has his last breath. That's how much this man loves the game and is passionate for the Boston Red Sox, not just baseball, the Boston Red Sox.
Trotta's Tangents brought to you by Gino's Candles. Buy 7, get 1 free. Look for the springtime summer collection or springtime collection by Trotty Too Hottie.
For a limited time.
Old school baseball here. Houck setting career high at 108 pitches. However, you can tell towards the end there he was kind of forcing it with his arm action a ton. Like, things looked like they were just lagging behind and wasn't as smooth as before. But I love to see that. 108 pitches. Got pulled at 112, but at the time when I wrote that, it was at 108. I am going to fly through these because we're 2 hours into this now. Jose Siri hits a single to the left, ties it 2-2. Then Yandy Diaz singles 4-2. Thanks, Raffy. This is why I don't say nice things. Raffy in fashion hits one over dead center 4-3. Don't let this boy get hot. Roller coaster of emotions in this game. Garrett Cooper loves the old blooper. And then I said wild take by you to say umpires are better now than 20 years ago, and you don't see as many egregious calls. I think that's a terrible take. I think, like, have you not seen Angel Hernandez out there?
Yeah, I completely agree. That was a weird take by you. A very rare miss.
Yeah, like he's like, yeah, back in my day, they would be calling them 6-8 inches outside. And I'm like, they're still doing that, Uke. I don't know how much baseball you're watching, but they are still doing
Yeah, what game are you watching, Uke?
Tough to win when you strike out 12 times. First in all of baseball with unearned runs at 33. Bob's here. I said, Bob's here. We have a 2-1 series because of that one play.
Fuck out of here.
Post-game Cora says that we need to hold runners better, step off at second base, stop the feet. It's our number one job, but he did talk about that at the end of game 2. Moving on to game 3. Cooper Criswell, Cy Young. At some point, we have to make an adjustment.
Game 4.
Game 4. Sorry, I wrote game 3 again. It's 12:10 in the morning on a Thursday night.
Yes.
Dedication from the boys here.
Just for you.
Chopper to first. Everybody freezes. Run scores. Top 1-0. Granted, umpire did not call foul ball, and Dom Smith was just waiting on it, but not great. And just like that, Denver goes Oppo over the monster for a 6th homer of the year, won 1 game. And then I said, that ball's gone, Josh Lowe homer. And then I go, wait a fucking second. Willier caught it. Wait another second. He does not. Josh Lowe hits a 2-run homer, 3-1. Duran double, that was almost an inside the park home run. Jose Siri, it played it at a weird angle, but literally just caught it at the last second. If that got by him, Josh Lowe was not there to back him up. Would have been an inside the park home run. Devers strikeout on 3 pitches with runner in third. Just painful. Little Raffy, another error at short, and this one was a throwing error. And I know he's our best option out there, but I know there's going to be growing pains, but it's tough. His biggest issue right now that I've noticed this, and even you've talked about in the broadcast, is he needs to move his feet more. Like he's stuck in that outfield, being camped underneath it and just kind of throwing it in. And as an infielder, the feet make the throw. Like being able to field that, keep your feet moving, and then help them get your body, your shoulder, hips, shoulders, and feet pointed towards the target to make the throw. And he just stops his feet so much when it comes to throwing. Got to work on keeping those feet moving. Little coaching brought to you by BMAC. Little infield coaching.
Gotta love it.
Jose Siri hit by pitch number 95 from Coop. And I said, good, fuck that guy. Something about Jose Siri I don't like. Wild pitch by Coop, run scores 5-1. I definitely missed a few runs in here. I lost a little bit of interest. But then Derek White was at the game. He's a guard for the Celtics, apparently. Don't follow other sports, so don't really know him. Terrible interviewer. Like, just, it was so awkward. Like, Jemi's like, so what do you know about this team? And he's like, yeah, it just seems like a good group of guys. And just, that's it. And he's like, yeah, so how's it feel going to the Eastern Conference Finals? He's like, yeah, man, it feels good. It was just a very awkward interview.
He clearly didn't want to be interviewed.
I mean, the Sox are losing 5-1 at this point. He definitely did not want to be interviewed. Infield,
No shot.
Infield in, up by 4. So the Rays have the infield in. They're up by 4 runs. Duran's on third. And Rob grounds out to first base, but no one's covering the bag. And I'm like, what the hell are the Rays doing playing infield in, up by 4 runs? Like, just let that run score and you have an automatic out. At this point now, all hell broke loose. We need to capitalize in these moments. And then Dom Smith rolls over to first base. Duran scores with bases loaded, 5-2. One of the big things I've noticed with Dom is either A, he's got way too much of a vertical bat angle, like his barrel is way underneath the ball, so he's coming up and hitting the top of the baseball, and 2, his top hand's just rolling over on balls a lot.
Keep the barrel up, Sony.
Keep it down. Yes, barrel up. You're right. Again, 12:15 at night. Garrett Cooper doubles, and he finally did something. It's 5-4. And then I said, very frustrating series so far with strikeouts and timely errors. But you know what? I see the grind and fight, the back and forth this series, and I love to see that, if anything. Then I said, Zach Kelly walks are concerning, but not that concerning when you're throwing out runners like crazy. Reese throws out Caballero a second for the first out. And then I said, very refreshing having a shortstop who will hold a tag. Hamilton. Sits there, and it was Palacio, I think, stealing second. And Rafi just all over him, held the tag, and made sure that there was an out. And that was really nice to see. And then after that, I kind of stopped taking notes because we jumped on here to watch the end of the game. And newsflash, Red Sox lose 4-3, and we lose the series.
Depression.
Yeah. Hasn't been good. Vibes aren't great right now. I don't know how to feel about this team, to be honest with you.
I mean, like we said earlier, it's the same shit, different toilet. The defense is not sustaining. It's gotten a little better since, we had 23 unearned runs in, the first 30 games or, 20 games, whatever the heck that crazy stat was. I mean, we've only had 10 since that. So that's gotten a little better, but it's still coming as an issue, and we're losing games because of it and losing multiple run leads with defensive mishaps. Same tune with the offense. We have 3 guys at max that are doing well in a series, and the rest are batting well below 200 as a group. And then the pitching staff is continuing to do very well. I'm speechless outside of this and repeating myself on that. The offense needs to figure it out. Pretty simple.
Well, on a positive note, our next 3 games are against the St. Louis Cardinals. Which
it ain't positive for me, man.
I was going to say, they're not that great right now. Their offense is struggling a little bit here and there. Their pitching isn't that great. So they haven't
been struggling for the past week, Bo.
They've been better for sure, but that's also my fears. The Rays were struggling, and we just let them come in and just fucking throw us around and open our mouths and spit in them and make us call them daddy. It just wasn't
as we've been doing.
But that takes us to our series look ahead against the St. Louis Cardinals. Trotter, what do you got for me?
Alrighty. Well, we're going to go to St. Louis here. All right. Game 1 tomorrow. I don't fucking know when the game is. Just tune in to Nessa, and it'll be on probably around 7 or 8 o'clock. You got
10
Kyle
p.m.
fucking Gibson. He's 2-2 with a 3.6 6.7 ERA versus Brian Bayo. He's 4-1 with a 3.13 ERA. Gibson career versus the Red Sox. He's had 10 starts. He's 4-4 with 3.41 ERA against us, so better than his season so far for 2024. 60 and 2/3 innings, 51 hits, 44 Ks to 18 walks, 5 home runs, 23 earned. Last time Kyle Gibson went up against the Red Sox, it was in 2023 for the Baltimore Orioles at Baltimore. 5 innings of scoreless baseball, 4 Ks on 7 hits, 1 walk, and got the W. Couple notables. You got Rafael Devers batting .444 career off of him with 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. Reese is batting .500 off of him with 2 hits and 4 at-bats. And Garrett Cooper has a home run and a double and 2 RBIs and 2 walks and 12 plate appearances in his career. Game 2, we got Miles Mikolas with a 3-5 record, 6.19 ERA versus Cutter Crawford with a 2.2, 2.24 ERA. Mikolas has 1 outing against the Red Sox in his career, and it was dated back to May of 2023 in Fenway last year. He is 1-0 with a 1.5 ERA in 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 0 strikeouts against the Red Sox in that outing. Individually, Rafi has his number, 667 with 2 hits and an RBI and 3 at-bats. Dom Smith also has his number, 375 with a double and an RBI. Garrett Cooper has a home run and a triple and 4 RBIs versus Mikolas. Duran and Reese combined are 0 for 5. Game 3, initially said TBD, but as we continue to record this podcast live, it flip-flopped, and Matthew Liberator is on the mound for the Cardinals, 1-1 record with a 4, whatever the fuck his name is. He sucks. 1-1 record, 4.56 ERA, going up against Nick Pivetta, 1-2 record, 3.48 ERA. Liberator has not faced the Red Sox in his career. The only guy he's faced in his career on our roster is Garrett Cooper, and he is 1 for 2 with a double and 2 RBIs versus this shit bum Liberator.
So I got 2 things, not even to add to this, but just talk about before we get into series predictions. I would love to say, the more that we talk about this, like that this could be a good series for us. Like the pitching line matchups are great. Kyle Gibson's like 38 years old, 36 years old. He's on the older side, back end of his career. Miles Mikolas, same way, like both not having great seasons. And Matthew Liberatore is going to be an opener. He's started 2 games out of his 14 appearances. He's only gone 3.2 innings most. So you're looking at a bullpen game there, most likely for game 3. And so it's a tasty matchup for this offense, and especially facing 2 out of 3 righties. Liberatore is a lefty, but like, I don't have the faith that they're actually going to fucking do something. That's the shitty part.
Yeah, I agree with you here. I went over some hot and cold hitters the last week for both teams, and the hot hitters for the Cardinals heavily outweigh the amount of hot hitters the Red Sox have. The Red Sox 3 hot hitters right now in the last week have been platoon guys. You got Garrett Cooper and Romy Gonzalez each batting .333, and then Connor Wong is batting .318. And that is in comparison to the hot hitters the last week for St. Louis. You got Ivan Herrera batting .444. You got Alec Burleson batting .348. You got Mason Wynn batting .348. Just a bloodbath there in comparison. Cold hitters comparison. Our list is a laundry list, a grocery shopping list when you haven't gone in 2 weeks. We got Vaughn Grissom batting $125 along with Dom Smith. We got Tyler O'Neill batting $120, Reese batting $143, Hamilton batting $143, Lil Rafi batting $182 in the last week. In comparison to the one cold hitter on the St. Louis Cardinals, Nolan Arenado at $111.
Who's still batting .272 for the year.
Yes, and you can't even call Paul Goldschmidt hot, batting below .250 here in the last week because he has 2 bombs and he has a 5-game hitting streak going on, I'm pretty sure, a 6-game hit streak.
I'm pretty sure he's batting .306, if anything, and the only reason I know this is because he's on one of my fantasy teams. Vastly
just a rough,
for him.
just a rough week for their best two hitters, but the difference is everybody else in that lineup is banging for them.
And that is the key to success, is when certain players aren't hitting well, the rest of the lineup is, or picking each other up. And that's just the one thing we haven't seen. That's why I changed my tune about the series now. The series actually makes me nervous because the pitching matchups are way too juicy to sit there and say 2 out of 3, 3-2. Like that's what I want to say, 3 out of 2, a sweep, whatever it is. But I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, we win 1 out of 3.
I don't hate it. I don't like it. The Cardinals are notorious for Cardinalsing on the baseball field, similar to how the Red Sox are famous for Red Soxing on a baseball field. The Cardinals are more notorious for this than the Red Sox. So I think if we're going to be having a battle of the best circus, the Cardinals are going to win that battle and blow more opportunities and chances and high leverage spots, than the Red Sox. Kyle Gibson, game 1, scares the shit out of me just for his ability against the Red Sox in his past. That worries me a lot. Outside of Rafi, nobody else in the Red Sox lineup is going to scare him. Everybody else he's held at bay for the most part. So I think game 1's going to be a loss. Game 2, you got something to add? Game 2, I think, is the one that we got to go get. You got a guy that is not a strikeout guy here. Okay, Miles Michaelis. If he goes off and has 5+ strikeouts against us, our season's over with. If this man chops up a high strikeout total on us and has 1 strikeout an inning, that's high for him. And this offense has no chance for the rest of the year, man. I'm sorry. This guy is the opposite of a swing and miss pitcher. If we can't do some damage against him in 4 or 5 innings while he's in, we don't deserve to win. Game 3 against Liberator, he's a lefty, but I'm not going to overthink that because he's going to be an opener. Red Sox win that all day. It's a Nick Pivetta day. Nicky Smooch is going to go on the bump and shove it against them all day long. 2 out of 3.
I love the positivity, and I hope you're right and I'm wrong. Just something kills me here. Where I can see this going with both these offenses is a 1-0 game, 2-0 game, 2-1 game. Something where there's very little offense, because our pitching should be able to keep them at bay and keep us in every single game this series. Don't know if the offense will. And I think to the flip side, the offense is going to make this pitching staff look great. And we're going to see a couple, at least 1, if not 2, or all of them be less than probably 4 total runs each game.
It's a very interesting take. I don't hate it. It'll be very interesting to see what happens for this, because it's just such a weird group. I mean, we don't strike out a lot of people. All right, the league average of strikeouts right now is 366. All right, for this point through the year, through 43 to 45 games, depending on how many games each team has played. The Cardinals are at league average, just above league average at 373, and the Red Sox are at 430. All right, Kyle Gibson isn't striking out the world. Mikolas isn't striking out the world. Liberator's not striking out the world. The Cardinals, outside of Ryan Helsley in that bullpen, got rid of most of their strikeout guys on the bullpen this past year. All right. The Red Sox, as a pitching staff, they're striking out a good amount of people. Okay. I mean, they're striking out just above, right at the league average of 366. Okay. And then the St. Louis Cardinals are just below at 361. This is a test on both of the lineups on which one sucks more.
So we're the same team, essentially.
This is really a very similar team, because the St. Louis Cardinals aren't a bad pitching staff per se on paper. They're not the best team in the world. They're not the worst team in the world for pitching. They're getting the job done, and they invested a lot into that pitching staff this year. The St. Louis Cardinals this year aren't really doing that well, despite adding Kyle Gibson, Flaherty, Lance Lynn. Excuse me, Lance Lynn they added instead of him.
Sonny Gray too.
Sonny Gray they have a 4.39 ERA when the league average is a 3.93 to the Red Sox having the league best at a 2.74. Despite all those guys, those role player guys being hot the last 5 to 7 days for the St. Louis Cardinals, The Red Sox have been getting the best people in the lineups outside of Lau for the Tampa Bay Rays out in series. I truly believe that we're going to continue to keep Nolan Arenado cold for another series here. We're going to keep Paul Goldschmidt at bay the best we possibly can. And the rest of that lineup is not going to do too much. It's really honestly up to, is Rafi Devers going to continue to hit home runs like he has been the last couple of days in the last week? And Garrett Cooper, this guy's done damage against every single starting pitcher that the St. Louis Cardinals are throwing up against us. This can be a really, really unique opportunity for someone in the shadows right now, just a simple role platoon guy that we picked up off of a fucking free agent DFA to step up and make a name for himself and to solidify himself as the everyday first baseman like he probably should be outside of the defensive mishap from earlier this series against the Rays.
I had such a good note that I wanted to say and completely forgot it, and I hate that, and I'm so mad.
God damn it. God damn it.
I did have one more take here. This is going to be a bitch for you to fucking cut unless you can use the magic AI thing, because that might be able to get out the noise reduction and echoes if you use the magic AI editor.
I'm thinking that's going to be the route if Riverside works.
The St. Louis series, and then we will go into closing thoughts because we're at 2 hours, 15 minutes, even though that'll probably be cut down. This is Tyler O'Neill's return to St. Louis, and I think that's going to be interesting to see how he's received. If the fans are going to welcome him, if the Ollie Marmol's going to sit there and be like, hey, welcome back. And they're going to be like, go fuck yourself. Is there going to be a big video, stuff like that? Question in the back, sir.
I think we're stupid if we do not put a home run wager on Tyler O'Neill tomorrow night.
Doing it right now.
I hope it's posted.
We're going to do it. But I think that will be interesting to see if how he's received. Because I feel like the fans loved him. They just hated the fact that like it's one of those things where like you just can't stay healthy and can't stay on the field. Like a Chris Sale type thing. Granted, he's not the level of player Chris Sale is, but something like that.
Indeed. And Tyler O'Neill's home run prop is not up yet. It'll be up in the morning.
Yeah, I just looked the same thing. All right. Closing thoughts here. Do you have anything that you want to get off your chest? Say, thoughts, concerns, short speeches?
I got nothing, man. Go win a fucking series, please. We need it. Shake out the frustration from this Rays series and go get some positive momentum going into the Trop.
The last thing I wanted to bring up, and we had talked about this over text, is Kenley Jansen not having a walkout song as a closer. Like he probably does, but it's probably something like Stupid and stuff like that. And you had mentioned this. So what would you put Kenley's walkout song? Because it used to be California Love when he was in California. Clearly he doesn't think he's staying long in Boston, has a lot of love for the Dodgers and whatnot. He pretty much said fuck Boston by not having a walkout song. So what would you make his walkout song?
So I'm thinking of like Johan Duran coming out of the bullpen for the 9th inning save in Minnesota. I'm thinking of Edwin Diaz coming out to Timmy Trumpets. Okay. I'm thinking of the whole entire ambiance in the show, the entertainment factor here, like the WWE wrestler entrance here. You have a future Hall of Fame closer coming out of your bullpen, and you do not do a thing for him. And you spent all of this money last year that they were advertising for all these cute little walk-off celebrations with these new LED lights and how these opportunities can arise with walkouts and celebrations and concerts. So did all these other MLB teams, and they're using it to bring in their closer. Why the hell haven't we done that yet? And to be quite frank with you, I feel like there's one song that would fit Kenley extremely well in this Red Sox vibe. And you can kind of throw a little jab at ownership while also being like a little like, hey, I know what I got that's plus in my shit and I use it all the time. What up? You all know it too. And it's that song by OT Genesis That price is way too high. You need to cut it. You know that one? Cut it.
I'm a
Cut
country
it.
boy.
Cut it. Cut it. Cut it. Works for the cutter. And then it's a little jab at John Henry. It's like, oh, the price is too high on that guy. Sorry, buddy. We can't bring him in. You got to cut your price down. You got to bring in those league minimum guys, not cutting it for us here. Well, guess what? Kenley's cutting it. And it ain't just the baseball. He's cutting it as our closer. And the Boston Red Sox team right now, pitching staff at least, he's for sure cutting it. John Henry, how about you cut a couple paychecks and you make some movements with Craigie in the back for some offensive pieces, huh? Huh? What do you say? What do you say? What do you say?
Now pitching for the Boston Red Sox, closer, Kenley, Jansen. The lights come on. It goes nuts in there. The fucking gate opens up, and out comes Kenley Jansen.
I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message as a tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything.
Shout out KB for a little KB Bruno Mars, but like literally the one thing I did, I typed in lazy songs, and that was the first thing that popped up, and I go, perfect. This lazy motherfucker, this is what he can walk out to.
That's so spot on, man. Good cat. Good find. Good get. Top notch. That kicks it. That kicks cut its ass.
Like we were texting about this, and I literally told you, I was like, I need to see your reaction live to this one that I picked out.
That was beautiful. Thank you for that. I needed it. My very last closing thought here.
Brought him back.
Shout out to Tewksbury Redmond. We just won our 10th game to qualify for playoffs. Electric stuff. Similar to the Red Sox here, they're not the best team in the state. They're a realistic group. They understand that. And when you're not the best team in the state, you have to outwork everybody and out-prepare against everybody. And that's what these guys are doing. They're out hustling everybody. They're out preparing. They're out practicing. They're out working. And it hasn't gone unnoticed with me. And I wanted to give them a little shout out because it's inspirational, man. Just being that team that everybody counts out and thinks that doesn't have a shot in the world. And then they go ahead and do some really cool shit throughout the year. And it's not taking one or two human beings. It takes everybody on that roster, up and down, all 15, 16 individuals. Hell, it's taking the interns that are in there, giving their every day when they could just be going home, doing their homework, hanging out with their buddies. Now they're at practices, feeding the machine for these kids. They're out there catching for them as the cutoff man, so that they're not killing their arms. Our trainers out there holding us down, seeing the pitchers after their outings, seeing a guy if his arm's a little sore after catching 3 days and 5 days. It's just a whole cohesive unit that you don't really see every day anymore in youth baseball and high school baseball. And you can really sniff out the bullshit when you get to the point that we've kind of been at. Like, we haven't been coaching forever, but you can sniff bullshit from a mile away. And there's nothing bullshit about the chemistry that this group has. And when you have chemistry like this in a high school or on a team, really cool and special, unique things happen. And I just wanted to have my little closing statement be a little hat off to the Tewksbury Redmen because, man, they deserve it, and they're only getting started.
Well, I mean, it gives you something positive to look at and kind of end on a good note there. Two things to that. A, shout out to the Fighting Felds and the boys in red, qualifying. We love to see that. Two, I have an issue with one of your comments. You said they're like the Red Sox. They're not the best team in the state. And considering the Red Sox are the only professional team in Massachusetts, that's an issue if they're not the best team in the state.
Like the league. But yes, Boston College might be better than the Red Sox, which is a massive problem.
The Woo Sox might be. There's a chance there.
Yeah, they got this guy, Iman Valdez, and then they got some guy, Robert Dahlback III. These guys have been doing really well. It'd be really interesting to see these guys get called up and see what they can do. But time will tell.
Time will tell. And with that brings you to the end. If you made it this far, kudos to you. We appreciate you. All our listeners, awesome. Feel free, if you got questions, drop up some DMs on Instagram or Twitter, whatever you want there. And Trotta's going to a bachelor party. He'll be at Fenway tomorrow night, and then going to a bachelor party this weekend.
Wedding this weekend.
Same thing.
Next week is the Red Sox trip. You're a week ahead. We're in St. Louis next Friday. Milwaukee at Fenway. 3-game set, Friday through Sunday. It's going to be electric. Going to try and go see Duran. Give him a shirt or something. That'd be sick.
I would love that. But so, we're going to have to rely on me on a lot for stats and some look ahead stuff here, because Trotta's going to be a little.
This weekend and next weekend are going to be a grind, but we're here.
It's why we do what we do, and we love what we do. But with that, thanks for listening. We'll see you Sunday after the Cardinals series.
Godspeed, everybody. Peace out.
Smooches.